Good afternoon, everybody. I have one of those horrible afternoon shifts, so hopefully I can entertain you with a little bit about what Young Farmers has been up to and is doing in that rural leadership space. So I wanted to give you a little bit of background around New Zealand Young Farmers and give you an idea of kind of what we've done over the last especially 3 years. So as you can see on the screen here, there is a range of programs and brands that sit under the New Zealand Young Farmers umbrella brand. So we have our Agri Kids, which is your primary school age students up to the age of 12. We have our Teen Ag, which is your high school students, so from 13 to 18. The New Zealand Young Farmers brand, you can be a member of New Zealand Young Farmers from the age of 16 through to 31, although I'm on the cusp of that, so I'm pushing for 35, which would be great, gives me a few more years on the board. And our Rural Business Network, which is around bringing rural businesses together within their communities and networking not only with alumni of New Zealand Young Farmers, but also within the primary sector as well. You'll see another 2 brands on there. So we've got the Get Ahead program, which is run in the first half of the year. And that is going into secondary schools and actually highlighting a range of careers within the primary industries. So we have a lot of organisations that we work with that come along and showcase the opportunities that their businesses actually offer for students, considering what they're going to do with their career. And more recent to our stable of brands is the Agrication, as we're calling it, which is where we've worked with schools and with the Ministry of Education to actually develop resources for schools, which is using agricultural examples. So people doing business studies or economics, science and things like that, they're using real world primary industry examples to actually learn their studies, which is really, really cool and something we look to continue. So as you can see there, we cover a range of ages and that is really core to us, is actually promoting that leadership within the industry. I'm going to share with you also some stories about some of our members and kind of how they've got to where they are today as well. So our pipeline is really, really strong. So our Agri Kids members, we've got just under 2,000 members in that part of the organisation. And bearing in mind, this has only been established quite recently in the history of Young Farmers. Teen Ag is the same. It is now our biggest membership and completely outweighs the New Zealand Young Farmers membership. So we've got a bit of work to catch up, this older generation. Our Teen Ags are really, really hungry for opportunities. So not only are they establishing their own clubs and taking on roles as chairmen and secretaries and things like that and learning valuable skills about running meetings and understanding financial reports, but they're really hungry to understand, what is available in the primary industries for them and their future careers. So then you've got New Zealand Young Farmers. So this has been around for a long time. Just as a quick show of hands, how many people have been in the past New Zealand Young Farmers members? I'll take 4. That's a good start. So the other thing is our Rural Business Network. So this is a group of people who meet every quarter, I think it is, and they establish hubs around New Zealand. And so what they'll do is they'll get a key speaker in and they pay $10 to be a member. You're a member for 18 months and you can attend any number one of those meetings from one through to every single one. And they will talk about issues that are relevant at that time. And it's about bringing not only the older generation into the room with the younger generation, but hoping to bring in the alumni that have kind of been involved with young farmers and can pass on some of the knowledge that they've gained through their career to that younger generation. So it is really, really good news for rural leadership. It is really, really strong. And that Teen Ag, we've got clubs establishing every month around the country. So it's really good news. So our people. Sam Moskrip is probably our top example at the moment, having gone through our pipeline. So he was a Teen Ag member. He didn't really know what he wanted to do. He said, the age of 16, I'm just going to leave school and I'm going to go back to the family farm and just milk cows for a while and figure out what I'm going to do. His territory manager came to a school, talked about Teen Ag and setting up a club. He jumped on board with that, became the vice chair, and then he chaired his own school club. He then went to Lincoln University, and his mind was changed at school because of the Teen Ag Club and the exposure that they got to opportunities within the sector, that he said, right, I'm going to go off to Lincoln and do my Ag Com degree. He ended up being the vice chair of the Lincoln Uni Club, and while he was there, he was quite instrumental in establishing a first year's position on the committee, because he saw quite a gap in coming from a teen ag club through to actually chairing or being a vice chair in a young farmers club. So they kind of wanted to break down that gap. In the first year they established that position, they had 32 applicants for that role, which is a pretty phenomenal application rate for any role, and to think that that's all from people coming through the teen ag pipeline. Emma Subtle was actually the first person to be elected into that first year's role, and she's now the Lincoln University vice chair. So that progression is really, really strong. James Robertson, he was definitely not doing agriculture when he was at school. He was completely going down a separate path. Again, joined a teen ag club. He's now the chair of the Massey University Club in the Manawatu, and doing very, very well for himself. Excuse me. And Tessa Williams is a Woodford House Teen Ag Club member who my team tell me are doing amazing things with leading her group of peers into the Teen Ag competitions and upskilling them with a lot of the offerings that we have. The thing is, for us, we couldn't do this without an industry approach. And I was really excited to hear about the Rural Connectivity Group say that, you know, we are collaboratively working together to find a solution for our community, but we're still competitive in that retail and wholesale space. And I think that that's something that the primary industries on a whole really need to listen to, because that is a great example of how you can actually work together, but still play in that competitive environment. And I think that is something that Young Farmers does really, really well, is actually bringing the industry together to achieve the same objective or that same outcome, which of course is bringing talented people through to the industry so that we can fulfill the roles that are required in the future. So the people that are kind of behind us, I've just highlighted a few key partners for us here. So Transform the Dairy Value Chain, or the Dairy PGP as you may know it, Red Meat Profit Partnership, that PGP. So we couldn't do Agri-Kids and Teen Ag without them. They've allowed us to resource those programs and actually deliver them, you know, putting our territory managers into schools, developing the programs, delivering the Get Ahead program. We simply couldn't have done it without industry support. Dairy NZ, Beef and Lamb, also massive support from them, and of course they're involved with the PGPs as well. MPI, FMG is obviously the principal sponsor for the contest, so the FMG Young Farmer of the Year contest, huge ambassadors for leadership in that rural space, and really grateful to have them on board. And ANZ is a major partner for the Rural Business Network as well. So our future, what do we need? As young farmers, we really want to see that collective industry approach, especially around funding. We are a non-for-profit, and we love being able to see people grow into the industry. And so it's really important for us that the industry comes together to collectively deliver these programs. There needs to be a bit of a culture change within the industry. We want to put people on farms. We want to put people into organisations where they can help to grow the primary industries. But there is a little bit of resistance to that, and we do need to change the culture and give them a better working environment. And yes, a lot of that does come down to technology. It's a life-work balance. It's not a work-life balance, and you'll see that a lot more from the generation coming through. They do want to be connected. They want to use technology on farm. They want to be able to create efficient systems within the businesses that they're operating so that it becomes a lot more profitable. And if we're able to do that, then we're actually able to deliver on the goals that have been set for us to achieve as a primary industry. So for me, it's really, really important that we are connected. We can use the technology people are developing for us. Agri-tech plays a huge role in the future of the industry, and that's something that me personally, and I know the organisation is really passionate about seeing rolled out. That's me.